don't you just love it when people get a taste of their own medicine? It's perhaps one of the best things as human beings. We love it. We love it when like a car is riding our bumper and we finally move over and they race past us only to see them get pulled over a little further up the road. I suppose that's not a taste of your own medicine example, but you get what I'm saying. Karma. It's a thing. Well, in Hollywood, and particularly in like people that do voice acting, it has gotten particularly woke over the past 10 years. The rule, as set by the Frank Azaria, who used to voice Apu, apparently is white people are only allowed to voice act for white people. Everybody else can do everybody else. And straight people aren't allowed to voice act for LGBTQ people, but LGBTQ people can play straight people. That was the rule. Obviously, that is the standard. The absurd, ridiculous, straight white people can only play straight white people, and everybody else can play every role. And when Frank Azaria was like, oh, I can't play Apu anymore because I'm a white guy, after collecting a check from The Simpsons for 20 years, it basically set the standard. And there is a marshmallowy individual who apparently is pretty popular at voice acting. His name is Sung-Won Cho, okay? And he has a long history of ladder pulling and gatekeeping on this exact topic, saying that only Asians should be allowed to voice act for Asians, but Asians should also be fine to play any other role. For example, that dork that played, what was his name? Simu Liu or whatever, the Asian actor that played in that Marvel movie that flopped. He said that only Asian people should be playing Asian roles, even though he was Chinese and he played a Korean on the TV show. So these people don't live by their own rules. So a brief history of this Pro ZD character. Pro ZD, the recast was already unacceptable, but this was just a effing yikes on top. This was, he said, to cast authentically means to hire actors who resemble or relate to the character they are playing. Also, Pro ZD. I got an audition for a prominent cartoon where I was just sent the Asian character. Looking through the rest, I told my agent, hey, I'm happy to read for these, but can I read for these others? To which I was told, all of those characters are drawn as white, so no. To add insult to injury, the character I got was mislabeled as Middle Eastern, Southeast Asian, because, we're all the same, right? You can just lump them all into one. Well, apparently this guy lumps all white people into one. My agent told me that this is just how some of the major studios are doing it. So he's saying, well, it's unacceptable, but also unless it applies to him, right? Having a meltdown about, here, is it positive or negative thing that a voice actor, when they can be recognized immediately upon hearing their voice, there are some that I feel I can always pick out, and others are total chameleons that I have to look up. Sung-Won Cho. It absolutely doesn't matter at all. In my opinion, it's one of the biggest, most frustrating misconceptions people have about voice acting. What only matters is the performance is true to the character. That I agree with. So this individual likes to play the race card when it benefits him and then pretend it doesn't exist when it also benefits him. Western voice actor Sung-Won Pro ZD Cho, unhappy reaping what he sowed, complains that the industry is now segregating roles by race. But this is what he wanted, isn't it? This is what all these leftoids demanded. Women can only play women. Straights can only play straights. LGBTQ people can play any role because they're on the bottom of the victimhood stack. Well, this individual, this is just so good. I mean, this is so good. Now, Pro ZD, aka Sung-Won Cho, is now going viral after he quit Twitter for being a hypocrite about diversity in voice acting. He complained that voice actors should match their character's race, but then took a white character's role. Asmongold even chimed in. He never believed that ish to begin with. He just used it to bully companies into giving him roles, turn the industry toxic, and now the toxicity has turned on him. This is the thing with all these bullies. They use it, their victimhood nonsense. and then they pull the ladder up behind them. And this is exactly, I mean, look, voice acting destroyed. Remember that guy who used to be, what was he? He was a really prominent video game YouTuber. He wanted to be a voice actor and like completely destroyed his career. I can't remember. He moved to LA, got woke, and then nobody cares about him. I can't even remember his name. This is somebody who has many, many, many times complained. Now, here's the thing about voice acting. I talked about this with Nina Infinity, who's very into voice acting this morning. And if you just even look at it from any kind of a talent, how about a painter, right? Or whatever. Voice acting is a talent that is completely devoid of what your skin color is. A white guy can sound black, a Canadian can sound American, a Middle Eastern can sound Chinese. That's because it's an art. It's something you train yourself to do. I mean, do only aliens voice aliens in cartoons? No. People are really good. You know, is it a real Joker villain voicing Joker? No. I mean, voice acting is a skill. Nobody cared that a woman voiced Bart Simpson for 20 years, right? Nobody cared. But then the SJWs took over the voice acting space. And again, it's okay if a woman voices a man. It's just that a white man cannot voice anybody but white men. So after the announcement, there was this announcement here for I put SJW live by their own standards challenge, difficulty impossible, because now he's leaving Twitter. We're going to look at the backlash, which started here. Voice cast for Knights of Guinevere pilot has been unveiled. The new pilot will release on YouTube on September 19th. I can't wait. Mark the calendar. This has High Guardian Spice, SJW garbage written all over it. So we have a voice actor who is a female voicing a male here, and a female who doesn't even show their own face. Gwen, another woman. Every one of these women look like they have a smell to them. And then we have Sung Won Cho, who is voice acting a white guy. Now, I don't have a problem with a woman voice acting a man. I don't have a problem with a black guy voicing a Korean guy, or a white guy voicing a Japanese guy, or a Japanese guy voice acting a Laotian. It doesn't matter, because voice acting is a skill, but all these SJWs took over that space during the lockdown. And so they announced this, and let's look at how the replies are going. By the way, shout out to Kangmin Lee, who absolutely bodied this guy. Why is ProZD voice acting a non-Asian character? I thought voice actors should only be allowed to play their own race. That's his position. By the way, 20,000 likes. It's okay. The character looks fat. That's his race more than Korean at this point. Yeah, seriously, F this guy. I've wanted to get into voice acting industry, and because of him, I cannot play white characters. Literally, everyone says I sound white, so this guy isn't even white. He's a hypocrite. Rules for thee, but not for me. You know, you don't hate voice actors enough. You think you do, but you don't. I mean, I'm sure there's some great ones, but everyone in like this particular industry, in this industry is some woke SJW or a pest who has like essay claims, right? So he absolutely bodies him. Let's take a look at the replies here, because I think it's interesting. It's a big announcement, right? Knights of Guinevere pilot has been unveiled. Some of the replies. Where have I seen this before? High Guardian Spice. This thing got laughed off the internet. Why is Miss Chang Cho voicing a non-Asian character? Why are there Asians playing white people? That's racist. Toon Hive, ProZD wanted and advocated for people to play and voice characters only of their own race. Why is he voicing a non-Asian character? He should stay in his own lane, as he wanted and advocated others do. Why is a hefty Mongolian playing a healthy white character? You know, ProZD, you're not white, so you don't get to play a white character. Stay in your lane. That's quite the cast of people I never want to listen to. Recast ProZD. I mean, if he had any of his own standards, he would. You know, he would say, you know what? He's not Asian. I shouldn't take the role from another Asian or from a white voice actor. But when you're white, you don't get any respect or any, it doesn't matter. Anybody can take your job, but you can't take anybody else's jobs. That's the rule. And this entire Now I have a good authority that voice actors are only allowed to play the character of their own race. Otherwise, the show is racist in its totality, depriving actors of their valid roles. So how do you think this guy did a little bit of reflection, did a little, maybe even admitted he was wrong? No, of course not. He left Twitter. Hey, all, this will be my last tweet on this platform. I will no longer be using Twitter after this. If you look at the replies of my latest announcement, you'll see that there are a lot of comments like this. I don't really. Oh, we'll go to the comments. What is it? People making fun of them. Man, people like you make me sick. That's why we should bring back Asian hate. Aren't you that fat dysgenic guy who said that they should only voice their own race? That's not Asian. Well, I imagine that people are mad. I mean, I don't agree with the way they're saying it, but he's the one that said that. If you look at the replies to my announcement tweet, you'll see mean words. Normally, I just block and move on. I truly don't think Twitter is worth it anymore, though. In the past, I've expressed that I think diversity in casting is important. No, you said it's the most important thing. It's a complicated topic, but at the end of the day, I still stand by this. Well, then you should step down from your role. I think it's important for all voice actors to be given an equal opportunity, and I think that there have been positive changes on that front. A lot of bad faith arguers have tried to paint me as saying things I've never said. No, you said Asians should only play Asians and that you should also be allowed to play white roles as an Asian. That's what you said. I've been reluctant to address this for years because I know a lot of these people will not listen to reason no matter what, but I think it's important for people to know that this has been happening, and the last time I'll comment on any of this, go by Twitter. So he left Twitter. This isn't an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Boy, they hate the taste of their own medicine. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.